Hello and welcome to my channel Close to Edge. My name is Pat, where we talk about all things prog rock, classic rock, heavy rock, and maybe, just maybe, a sticker rock. Stick around, you never know. Anyway, welcome back all my loyal subscribers and viewers. You know who you are, you're all fantastic. And if you're new to the channel, and you like what you see, please hit that like and subscribe. And if you don't, you won't. Anyway, in today's video, I'm going to do a kind of a retrospective of my favourite progressive rock band, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Absolutely adore them. Really do. Before I get into that, I also want to give a big shout out to John Brazel. They're from Tennessee in the United States, who sent me a gift on Wednesday. I got it. He must have known my birthday was on Sunday because it's roughly around the same time. Imagine I'd be 62. Anyway, he did up CDs, Obscured Prog Rock Part 1, the S. Giles Band, Savai Brown, stuff I haven't heard. 10 years after, I have no 10 years after in my collection. Uriah Heep bonus tracks parts 1 and 2 on 2 CDs. And Joe Satriani G3 live. Absolutely brilliant. He went all the time and trouble to make them. Then he sent, in the box was also a few euros for me to buy a record maybe or a CD. And he sent me a single of Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. You can see it there. My Guitar and Dog Breath. Never had a single by Frank Zappa. Absolutely incredible. And the creme de la creme, as they say, he sent me the box set of Apostrophe, my favourite Frank Zappa studio album. And there's 6 discs in this. Blu-ray 5.1. Album sounds amazing. And the live discs on this are incredible. It's from probably his best lineup around 74. Unbelievable. Best I've ever heard. John, you're a gentleman and a scholar, as we say here in Ireland, and I really do appreciate all you've done for the channel and for myself. Thank you very much, John. Gentleman. Anyway, we're going to talk about Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Formed in late 69 in London. You had Keith Emerson, who was formerly with the Nice. You had Greg Lake, who was with King Crimson. Stuttering my words, as they say. And you had Carl Palmer, who was from The Crazy World of Arthur Brown, and then he went on to Atomic Rooster. And they formed this kind of supergroup. And I believe their first concert was in a small place in Portsmouth. I'm not sure about that now. I will stand corrected. But their first major contact, and they hit the ground running. And this album I'm going to show you is from this live 5 LP box set, which is absolutely incredible. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Out of This World, 1970 to 1997. Incredible. So I'll be showing albums from that. Just give a bit of context to their career. So the first big concert was the Isle of Wight Festival, and this is part of it, on a double LP, and they hit the ground running. Had the cannon and all on stage, and everyone was blown away by their bombastic nature, their incredible musicianship. And obviously they played tracks from their first album, which I'll show in a second. But this is incredible. Sound quality wouldn't be great on this now, but it gives you a kind of the time, like a time capsule. And it's absolutely amazing. So their first studio album was Emerson, Lake and Palmer, 1970. And it blew everyone out of the water. I wish I was around at the time, or I was around at the time, but old enough to appreciate how good this album is. Like, you have Knife's Edge on this, Take a Pebble, The Barbarian. Like, what more do you want, really, for a first album? Straight out the gate, like a horse, straight out, sprinting. Absolutely amazing. So then, in 1971, Newcastle City Guildhall, I think, was recorded in. Pictures at an Exhibition, Mudagorski's. Again, obviously this band are so classically influenced. Not a whole lot of guitar with them. And what can you say about Pictures at an Exhibition? Like, they were on fire now. They were on fire. Then their second studio album, you had the amazing Tarkus. And side 1, the title track Tarkus, about the Armadillo tank. It's just one of the greatest progressive rock tracks of all time for me. It's pure genius, amazing. A lot of people say the second side is a little bit disappointing, but it's not for me because I love this band. But what a second studio album, 1971. Then you move on to 1972, and he did Trilogy. Like, this is just absolutely amazing. They didn't play a whole lot of this live because they did an awful lot of overdubs on this album, which they regret. And they said they would fix that on the next album. But, so what can you say about Trilogy? You know what I mean? Absolutely amazing. And then, in 1973, they went absolutely bombastic and brought out Brain Salad Surgery. Sure. What a concept album. Like, it starts off with Jerusalem. Like, you know, a nice kind of a hymn, an English hymn. But Carnival 9 is the creme de la creme on this album. Parts 1 on the first side and the other parts on the second side. And it's just entertaining, progressive, everything. It has everything on this. Has that kind of synthesizer voice and all at the end of the second side. It's just blows your fucking boat. So they went going with the live album, and they recorded this live album in California. Anaheim, I think it is, in California, a convention center. They brought it out at 74, and my good friend in Tennessee, John Brazel, shouts on this album just before Lucky Man. When he's starting to do Lucky Man, you hear a fella saying "Go Crazy," and that's John Brazel, my subscriber here, and he's on it, and I heard it. And this is a triple live album, utterly brilliant. You have everything on this, from their first album up to Brain Salad Surgery. Not a whole lot from Trilogy now, because as I said about the overdubs. But this, if you haven't got this triple live album, you really, Anaheim, I think is the name of the place. Right, so next I have this again from the box set, is the California Jam, where they headlined the California Jam, the biggest outdoor festival at the time, I think. They headlined it with Deep Purple. And this is the double LP in the box set. Again, absolutely brilliant. I don't think they recorded the first two songs. The tapes weren't running. Of course, Richie Blackmore went berserk with the camera on that. But this is absolutely stellar again. You know, I know a lot of people used to give out that he used to stand on a Persian rug. But why fucking not? If you have it, flaunt it, baby. Flaunt it. As your man said in the producers, the film. Right, so they took a kind of a time out, a few years out, and they came back with Emerson, Lake and Palmer Works. 3 years on their previous, 3 years, 4 years really, nearly 4 years. And they brought out this in 77, Emerson, Lake and Palmer Works. So yeah, on the first side you have Keith Emerson's Piano Concerto, which is absolutely brilliant, because I do like a bit of classical music. Second side you have Greg Lake, you know, C'est la vie and that. And you had Carl Palmer's, the third side, which is excellent as well, like, you know, brilliant. And the last side you had Fanfare for the Common Man, Aaron Copland cover, and they made it their own. And you had Pirates with the lyrics written by Sinfield, and of course Sinfield wrote all the lyrics on the Greg Lake side. I love this album. I think it's absolutely brilliant. A lot of people say it's this, that, the other. Three solo albums, and then like 3 solo pieces, and then the band. No, it works. Absolutely incredible. Incredible. Love it. Love it. Is it as good as the Aria stuff? No, it's not. Then they did in the same year, they said they had stuff left over from that and a few bits and bobs. And Now it's all white now, so you might not even see that now with the shine here, with the sun shining. I'm doing this in the daytime. Works Volume 2. Maple Leaf Rag is on this. Brain Salad Surgery is on this, which they left off of the album Brain Salad Surgery. I have the single for that. And you had, I Believe in Father Christmas, where I think he wrote in 75 with Peter Sinfield, got to number 2 in the UK single charts. But absolutely incredible. Now they went on tour for the Works tour, and you have, this is part of the box set, The Works Live with the orchestra, which nearly broke and cost them £3 million. And they had to drop them after, I think, 10 shows, I believe. But this is just amazing. Amazing. And they had The Works Live. This is the CD, the double CD, which is, the CD wasn't brought out in the 90s, but the album, single album, was brought out in 79 after they split up, of course. And there's a single album of it. Again, similar to that Works, absolutely brilliant, but it's the way he wanted to bring it out, Keith Emerson, but unfortunately they only gave him a single. Atlantic gave him a single album, so this rectifies that. So if you don't have any of these and you see the two of them out in the wild, get that one. And if you want to get the two of them like I did, go ahead, as they say, get them, because they're absolutely incredible. But then their last album of the 70s, and they broke up after this one, is Love Beach with the Bee Gees cover. And a lot of people are put off. If they had a different cover on this, they might not have been put off as much. And I mightn't have been put off. First side is, terrible. Fair for the last track, which is quite good. And I was speaking to Dermot there early in the week. Dermot was up here on my channel, and he said, go and listen to the second side again, Pat. It's proggy, and it's a long track. Typical Emerson Palmer. Listen to it. Excellent. So, excellent. So I've changed my mind on that second side. It is excellent. I know people have said it in the comments when I mentioned this album before, but it's a lot better than the cover. And that wouldn't be fucking hard. That wouldn't be hard. So they broke up and did their bits and bobs. And in 1986, they wanted to get the band back together, but they couldn't get Carl Palmer because he had commitments to Asia, who I don't like. So they got Cozy Powell, rock drummer, who was with Rainbow, Whitesnake, Michael Schenker Group, among others. He's nearly on every album. But they brought out Emerson, Lake and Powell. Now, this is a Russian version, believe it or not. Not the original one that I would have bought back in the day. And you have the score on this that opens it up. It's absolutely, welcome. It's like a Welcome Back, My Friends. And Touch and Go. You have Mars, the Bringer of War, on this cover. Absolutely excellent album. You know what I mean? Excellent. It's not up there now with the early stuff, but still excellent. Right, so they came back again. So Powell, that didn't last long. And in 1992, I couldn't wait. I knew they were after it. They bought Black Moon. Now, I bought it originally on cassette. There's the cassette of it. Because a man in the shop here locally didn't have it on the CD. He said he was getting it in. I bought it because I'm mad to hear it. And he eventually got it in on CD. And this is a good album. A couple of good tracks on this. The title track. It's okay. Still though, it was Emerson, Lake and Palmer, so I was delighted. And being a fanatic on him, I probably overlooked the rubbish on it, if you know what I mean. But anyway, I did enjoy it. So they went on tour then. They went on tour, and this is part of the box set again. This is recorded in the Albert Hall. And this is actually brilliant. And my good friend Dermot is at this concert. I think this is taken from the 2 nights, but he's at one of the nights. Absolutely brilliant. Like, that box set is just incredible. But they did a tour and absolutely, like, back to our best, really, live. A couple of tracks now from the Black Moon album, but mostly the old stuff. So then, in 94, Went out with her, did a new album, and I got it on cassette again because he hadn't got it on CD. And it's their last studio album, In the Hot Seat. Now, you know how much I don't like this album, and it is a terrible album, except one song, the last track, and I think Jeff Downes had something to do with that. I think they were doing something with that. But it's a good track, and he only had it on cassette, and I didn't want to get it on CD because it was that bad. They went out with a whimper, really. But I'll hold on to it. I love the band so much. So they continued touring. They did continue touring, and I have it here now. This one, from the box set, live in Phoenix. And one of the subscribers told me to get the box set. I only got the box set recently. Got it for absolutely very little money. And this is in Phoenix in 97, I think. Yeah. It was the Out of This World Tour, 1997, in Phoenix, Arizona. And it's absolutely brilliant. Utterly brilliant. And that was part of the box. It wasn't brought out at the time, and was brought out a few years later was the Fanfare, again from the same tour, the 1997 World Tour. Tracks from different venues. Again, utterly brilliant. So then, they disappeared. And their anniversary then, 40th anniversary in 2010, they came back and did one show in London. And this is it. Emerson, Lake and Palmer. It's the 40th anniversary at the High Voltage Festival in London in 2010. Of course, I have to have that. And I know Keith Emerson was suffering with a nerve problem with one of the hands. And obviously a lot older, but still, they absolutely blew it out of the water. Absolutely blew it out of the water. And that was one of the last, I think it's the last concert they did. And a good way to go out live, because they were a live band, mainly, a really brilliant live band. And unfortunately, in 2016, Greg Lake died of cancer, and Keith Emerson sadly died by suicide. I think it was something to do with his hand, depression, all that. I know you have Carl Palmer's the only one left now, and he does shows as Carl Palmer, and I would like to see him eventually. Would love to see him. But anyway, that's my brief, I don't know how long this video is, about 18 minutes long, look at my favourite progressive rock band. And what do you think of Emerson, Lake and Palmer? I didn't get into much detail now. I don't want to be actually going into using all big words and all these colours and like telling you about a painting or something. It's just the way I feel, and that's the way I like doing the videos. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and whatever you're doing, stay safe, which is very, very important. Very important. And it's nice to be nice. Until my next video here on Close to the Edge, my name is Pat, so bye-bye now. Bye.